In organizations today, they have the challenge of where they manage the contractual process within the business. Strategic procurement puts contract management at the heart of that process, of the negotiating process. It's interconnected to the supplier relationship process, and then it's all about taking advantage of everything that you've negotiated contractually and putting it into the hands of your purchasing process. But we know that that's okay. From a procurement standpoint, I think everybody talks about this. But contract management is a lot more than that. It's not just about the procurement process. What about sell-side contracts? What about the contracts that are sitting in multiple areas of the business? It doesn't always fit to put it into one kind of procurement solution or in your ERP or on SharePoint, as is often the case. So there are literally thousands of contracts that sit in large businesses, and that requires somebody to come in and guide you on that process. You need help with it. So there's technology from a procurement standpoint. There is assistance needed and guidance in terms of what the process should be and what the best practice is. But then there is holistic contract management and intelligent contract management. Today, I wanted us to talk to our friends at Deloitte and iCertis, who are looking at this contract management journey, and they collaborate together to put this all together very seamlessly, and it's interconnected into the whole space. So let me introduce my friends, Martin Moore, who's the VP of Alliances for iCertis across EMEA, and Sliman Garar, who is the SAP Procurement lead for Deloitte across EMEA as well, so that we can just get their thoughts on how they do this.
First of all, thank you, Mo, for having us on your innovation video. Great to talk about that within our partnership. Why is it so important? Why is it actually creating business value for our customers? Basically, what we realized talking to our customers, four main aspects. One is, of course, everything needs to go fast. Everything needs to be accelerated. Therefore, they're looking for intelligent contract workflows, which is tightly coupled with their sourcing and buying processes. Right. Second, they want to make sure that they do not make mistakes while they are contracting. Everything needs to be under control. It's a disruptive times right now. There's a lot going on, and you want to be 100% sure it's not a maverick contracting process. It's something which is really done properly, and the whole sourcing is contract centric. And then thirdly, it's buyers, like anybody else in a company, don't want to do double entries. They say, well, I have a perfectly done sourcing event. I got all my quotes. I did all my negotiation, documented everything. How can I get it seamless and automated into my right contract template? And then actually also fourth value they should generate out of this is actually, how can I sync details across all suppliers and sell-side contracts? So I have a holistic view on all my contracts working in my Ariba system, and then actually also compare what did we sell to our customers and what actually did we agree on with our suppliers, and does that meet regarding SLAs, obligations, and everything.
Talking about the iCertis and the Ariba connection, you guys now have an app on our app store. It's something that's fully integrated. Can you just briefly talk about what that brings to the table and how that works?
We all know that Ariba is a very strong and functional, rich system. The partnership is very much depending on what our strength, right? Our strength is contracts and contract intelligence. This is applied AI technology where we, spend quite a lot of time in adding these functionalities to our product, which now sits within Ariba. And to give you, again, realist example, what creates value for the customers is that you have probably thousands of contracts in different systems which need to be digitized first. So they really get into a single repository, and talking about all contract types. Secondly is actually that you need your system augmenting you and your day-to-day job in actually understanding and reading through the contracts and finding the risks, but also the golden nuggets. Right. So discover a contract. And then thirdly, what you should expect when you're in a negotiation process, is that your system tips on your shoulder and tells you this is a risky contract which you received from your supplier. This third-party paper does not cover GDPR properly, or there's nowadays all about force majeure is not well covered. Better apply this clause, which we used with the supplier in a different country.
Right.
This is the technology we want to bring to the table.
You know, between SAP and iCertis, I think we've got the technology pretty much laid out, right? I think your two best-in-class solutions, right, that are connected, and that's excellent. But you know, I always think about this and go, well, the contract management piece from a technology standpoint, okay, even if you get that right, the piece that always worries me is what happens within the business, right? So let's talk to Slimane. Slimane, you know, Deloitte do so much in this area, and the knowledge and experience that you bring to a customer before they start looking at how do we pull it together in technology is really important. So can you just talk a little bit about your collaboration with iCertis and how you use that as a way of driving best practice from an advisory standpoint all the way through to the technology?
So with iCertis, we have a best of breed solution. It has been presented by Martin. So it can be used for buy-side contract, HR contract, sell-side contract. It embeds a lot of AI functionalities. It answers to legal and compliance requirements of our clients. And iCertis can be easily integrated with Ariba into a source-to-pay solution. So we, as Deloitte, we are the right partner for several reasons. The first reason is we have our risk advisory team who is working on all type of contract, who knows all type of contract and who are looking on the overall picture. That's the first point. And the second point is our expertise into procurement and Ariba. So then we are able to connect the dots between all type of contracts into the procurement source-to-pay processes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But I guess anybody who's watching this video will kind of say, okay, well, that makes sense. I can see how you work together. But why don't we try and make it a little bit real, right? Can we talk about some of a real integration scenario, maybe a couple of customer scenarios?
Indeed, an out-of-the-box integration has been set up between Ariba and iCertis. So there are several integration scenarios that facilitate this communication. So the first one is the master data integration. So master data, like supplier, can be pushed from Ariba to iCertis. Mm-hmm. The second integration scenario is the integration of sourcing event afterward that can be pushed to iCertis to generate a draft contract. After that, the contract can be created and assembled into iCertis. Once it's done, it can be pushed on the Ariba downstream side to have contract terms for requesters. And at the end, to close the loop, the spend data can be pushed from Ariba to iCertis to provide the end-to-end execution visibility to iCertis solution.
That's a little bit more interesting in understanding how it connects together. Have you got a customer example? Martin, maybe we go to yourself. I remember you and I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about one of your customers in Europe that were using similar scenarios to what's just been discussed.
No, it's a customer doing consumer goods. Okay. They are using Ariba for all their procurement products, purchasing products. And I mean, these adapters which you, Slimane, just described, I mean, we did not just build them to connect to software products. We built them because we received more and more requests about having seamless integration of two best of breed solutions. Right. And this customer basically said, well, so we do all our sourcing events via Ariba, and we also do the awarding. But when it comes to the awarding, we actually still need to negotiate contractual language. Okay. And we need legal involved. So what happens? Buyer puts a contract together, types in all the things he saw in the proposal, and sends it over to legal by email, right? And then legal does their redlining, sends it back. They send it to the supplier. They have negotiation. They change things. So basically they are in a sampling workflow, but it's very manually done. So this customer said, how can I actually have legal involved compliance in a buy-side process, working in the same system? And this is where we actually show the customer in live, here's your Ariba system. You don't leave the Ariba system. You still work on a contract, and you can work in it holistic through the whole contract life cycle. So very real, more and more in common that customers look out for deep and advanced contracting systems to help in the sourcing process.
Then Slimane, you and I, again, you talked to me about another customer in the life sciences area, right?
Absolutely. So we have a client, so a pharma company who is already using Ariba, actually. And they were looking for a CLM solution to cover either procurement, but also a sales side and HR with advanced authoring functionalities. But they also wanted to have this solution integrated in the existing source-to-pay solution, which is Ariba, actually. So then we have introduced iCertis, and we are starting discussion to have iCertis to manage requirement of our clients and to be perfectly integrated into the Ariba source-to-pay landscape.
Right, cool. And I know that they're quite excited about that, and it makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. I think the other piece that I wanted to touch on briefly, and going to you, Martin, you know, we know what the solutions can do today, but when we look at contract management, especially in this, with the way that the world is today and everything that's going on, where do you see contract management moving over the next 2, 3, 4 years?
Yeah, right now the stage where we are, I would call it CLM 2.0, contract lifecycle 2.0, is basically that it's not just finding a contract, it's actually creating best possible contract for the company.
Right.
The next stage, the 3.0, we would call it contract intelligence, is that the technology is able to talk to other contract management systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, pointing out blockchain. Blockchain can quickly become real with contracts, where you basically actually have an executed contract, you have obligations in that contract, and you want to make sure when a supplier has performed whatever he was expected to be performed and according to the contract, that he gets paid accordingly, or if the quality is not where it should be, that something happens nearly automatically. So this obligation management is for us a very important aspect of the contracting piece. Everything post-contract signature needs to be managed properly. And this is where we put all our effort in. This is where we apply AI technology, blockchain technology, and where we will see not just seamless within the company when it comes from, sourcing, awarding, contracting, also seamless in the post-contract execution phase with the suppliers. So this is where all our attention is right now, to bring innovation into our products.
It's great, because I think that the best thing about having this integration is that we'll be able to take advantage of best of breed, right? So innovation, and this really shows why innovation in the ecosystem is super important to us at SAP and SAP Ariba, is because that is how we expand. Whilst we've got a fantastic suite, and what's coming around the corner is even more special, we have to have these best of breed solutions connected, so that we can really provide that kind of extensibility that I think in the past, everybody wanted a suite provider to provide everything, but that's not the world today. Best of breed is a big thing, and I think you've highlighted exactly why it's important. Gentlemen, thank you very much for this. It's been a really interesting conversation.